Money is goods and services in the economy and your labour. Currency represents money. But we have been fooled into believing that currency is money, and they're printing money out of nothing, especially right now. Between 25 and 40% of all money in creation has been printed in this past 15 months. But
that's a lot.
That doesn't. You
That's
can't
huge.
print houses. You can't print cars. That's in no production. Money creation is inflation. People think inflation is an increase in prices. That's the consequence of inflation. So meanwhile, while they're doing this, money's worth more where it enters the market. I think it's Cantillon effect. So where it's coming in to the market, they're buying up a lot of properties. I know that BlackRock currently own, I think, 53% of the asset-based mortgages in America. They're also buying up the properties. Lloyd's here have decided that they're going to become private landlords. There's no politicians talking about how immoral this is, but they're buying up all the assets because the fiat currency money game. Fiat currency is basically, it's money backed by nothing. It's on authority of the government that it's worth something.
Would I be right in saying that the word, because I remember looking at this years ago, the word fiat is Latin, and it means let it be so. In other words, it is money and it has value. We're telling you. Because we tell you it has value. But it has no intrinsic value. Yeah. Okay, right.
Yeah, so that system now, they always fail. Every fiat currency, there's been thousands, everyone fails. This current one is failing. What I see them doing right now is printing money out of nothing. They're giving us an amount of it to pacify us so that we stay at home while they buy up all the actual assets. We're in a very dangerous situation for me right now, I would say that.
I think I would wholeheartedly agree. And I remember when, I have 6 children, and when they were growing up, I used to sort of give them a clip round the ear and say, do you think money grows on trees? And they would say, well, sure, where does it come from then, Dad? And for years, I really didn't understand the answer to that question. So can you elaborate on where money comes from? Initially, we know that central banks, QE, quantitative easing, they print money. But can you just go down the path of the private banking system and how they bring money into creation?
Yeah. Okay, I think Richard Werner looked into this because there's a few theories of where money comes from, like in terms of debt. Because 97% of all the money in the economy right now has been generated from debt. There's only 3% that is sound money. So whether it's are loans created from money that's actually in the bank that they're lending out money that they actually have, or is it fractional reserve lending? Fractional reserve lending will be when you put £100 into the bank, they have to hold, say, 1% of that, but then they can lend out £99, but then that goes into another account and they can lend out 99% of that. So that £100 can actually be lent out to the tune of 10,000. But he looked further into it and he actually went and borrowed €200,000 from a bank and did a forensic analysis of their balance sheet. And it proves that money was literally created. You created that promissory note and it was created there and then on that debt. That money did not exist before that. He came out with that in 2013, I think, is when he did it, and he printed the paper on 2014.
And who was that again?
Richard Werner.
Werner.
Yeah, one of the most downloaded documents. Very, very interesting. And the Bank of England came out after that and said, actually, we know that, that's how. But
do you see, coming back to monetary creation, currency, money velocity, we've heard all these terms before. Have you ever read something called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars?
No.
Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars goes into the whole banking system and how that works energetically. So you'll have banks, as in a riverbank, which controls the flow of money. So the riverbank controls the flow. So the bank controls the flow of money. And it puts all these scenarios together. It's a very deep, you can find it on the internet, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. People can Google that, they can find the PDF of it. But it's very, very clever at matching the energetic control system that they want to put in to the banking system and matching those words, currency, flow current, flow, banks, etc. It's a mind-blowing document,
So that's
but it got
maritime
leaked.
thing again,
We're straying
yes,
into the whole maritime admiralty type of common law stuff, which is for another day.
Yeah.
I'm just mentioning that so people can look at that in advance, before we do a podcast on perhaps silent weapons for quiet wars, for example.
Yeah.
So...
Well, this is why the asset prices, this is why house prices are so high right now, because for a commercial bank to lend for a house, it's pretty much a guaranteed loan. You're making money from nothing out of the interest. We are in a non-productive society because they don't lend to small businesses because there's that risk there. So they have created these asset bubbles by their actions and what they're doing. And I always find it interesting that people have this idea, well, I bought my house for 150,000 and now it's worth 400,000. It's the same house. I understand if you've done work to it, but if you haven't done anything to it, you are not any richer. It's this con that you actually are more wealthy because it's now worth 400,000. You're not. It's the same house. Same thing that if house prices, say there's a massive crash tonight and your house is worth 400,000 and it's only worth 40,000 and people are devastated. It's the same house. It's just that we have been forced into this. People are buying properties for investments. We've been forced into this.
Rather than a home.
Yeah, rather than a home.
Yeah.
And people think your home is an asset. Your home is not an asset. You have to live somewhere.
Watch and listen for free on YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can also follow us on Telegram and Facebook for more information.